Hello, I'm Sabina, a CPA financial planner. I advocate for you to pay less taxes legally, legitimately, and ethically. Our practice focuses on tax-smart investing and wealth building. Today, I'd like to talk about the 7 costly retirement disasters to avoid at all costs. We have all heard the dismal retirement statistic for the millions of baby boomers by now, hitting their mid-60s. By one measure, nearly half of the boomers are at risk for not having enough income in retirement. The Employee Benefit Research Institute reports that 47.2% of the oldest boomers are in danger of running short, while for younger near retirees is 43.7%. And surprisingly, more than 70% of lower income households are projected to have retirement shortfalls. But even 41.6% of the middle income household are at risk. Retirement income is a tough problem, one beset by many unknowns: your longevity, your health, the performance of investment, and the economy. Unless you have several million dollars free and clear today, which very few people do, the question of retirement income is a serious one. Here are some of the biggest retirement planning disasters most people make and how to avoid them. Number 1, aiming for a number without understanding reality. A lot of focus on retirement saving the past few years has been on reaching the number you need to retire. However, that can be a trap. A lot of the retirees and near retirees look at their investment too frequently and get focused on the total amount, sometimes on a daily basis. There's a lot of emotional capital tied up in the daily random moves that investment markets tend to make. You'll be a happier person if you look less often. With that said, the real trouble is focusing on a single number that you need to hit or have hit in order to retire in the first place. For example, many people think that $1 million is enough to retire comfortably and enjoy your lifestyle. But what happens if you hit that goal? Then the market drops for a few years. You may start thinking about going back to work. It's easier to delay retirement by 1 year than to go back to work 3 years later. Give yourself some room for error. Second disaster is far too rosy projections. If you plan conservatively and carefully, you can enjoy a long and prosperous retirement, even if the market is down. The key is not to make big assumptions about your investing returns. You'd never get in a car without an idea of your endpoint and think, I hope I just end up in the right place. You would, of course, carefully choose your destination and the best route to get there. Your financial life is no different. You need a retirement roadmap that is customized to fit your individual situation and goals. Every assumption you make should be extremely conservative. Plans like you will live to be 100 and make contingency plan for everything. Your plan should take into consideration all the factors that might affect you in retirement, like each and every one of your anticipated expenses, what you'll be receiving in Social Security, what if your health deteriorates significantly, etc. Your savings become your paycheck and must last the rest of your life. It's easy to find ways to spend extra money, but much more difficult to deal with a shortfall in income. Disaster number 3, confusing your future with your parents' past. Boomers need to know this is their parents' retirement. Many of our parents had a pension plan when they retired. Now pensions are mostly limited to federal, state, and municipal workers. Boomers that want a fully funded retirement need to know they're on their own. Unfortunately, that means having planned, saved, and invested to have that fully funded retirement by taking advantage of a 401k plan and both traditional and Roth individual retirement accounts. Along with Social Security, private retirement funds will provide a basis for retirement income. If the plan is funded correctly, many retirees are better off waiting until full retirement age before collecting Social Security. Additionally, people who are about to retire should consider downsizing their large homes sooner rather than later, because it will cut down on monthly living expenses, which in a sense increase your income. You should also consider working part-time during retirement. The extra income will be nice to have, but staying active and engaged with other people is a huge benefit. Disaster number 4 is by putting all your retirement plan eggs in one tax bracket. Americans pay a lot of taxes during their working years. Social Security tax, Medicare tax, income tax, state tax, real estate tax, investment income tax, and so on. Some of those taxes can be deferred and some not. So the key to a strong retirement income is being able to control those tax rates. Retirement savers thus should seriously consider opening a Roth IRA. Have some money in a tax-deferred account such as a traditional IRA or 401k, and some in a Roth. You can withdraw money from the Roth IRA without paying tax on it because you make the original contribution with after-tax money. We have all heard we should diversify our investment. Believe it or not, it's the exact same thing with your future tax liability. When you use both Roth and pre-tax accounts, you are diversifying the taxes that you are going to have to pay in the future. You are going to have some taxable accounts, and you're going to have some tax-free accounts. This will give you options in retirement. If tax rates are high in a given year, then you take tax-free distribution from your Roth instead. If halfway through retirement your tax rate drops, for example, or if you move to a state with no income tax, you can take taxable distribution from your tax-deferred account. Having both accounts will allow you to play around with your tax bracket. Disaster number 5 is assuming a rule of thumb applies to you. A lot of financial advisors assume that a retiree's spending would go up by the rate of inflation. Yet a JP Morgan study found that costs such as clothing and meals go down, but really go up for medical spending. The spending did not go up as much as people assume. However, your healthcare is going to rise and your other spending is going to fall. If you don't spend as much, the amount you would need to save will be lower. The long-standing rule of thumb was to spend no more than 4% of your portfolio annually if you wanted the money to last. But in today's near zero interest rate environment, that's now more realistically 3%. There are other things you can do to manage spending, like moving to a tax-friendly state for retirees or delaying Social Security. You can add 10% to 20% to your Social Security benefit with planning. You can add 2 or 3 years to your retirement. If you have other assets, it's usually a good decision to delay Social Security benefits. Asset allocation matters too. If you don't need a lot of risk to meet your goals, you don't need a lot of equities. Don't undersave and retire early and then take on risky portfolio because you don't have the discipline to reach your goals during your working years. Nevertheless, as you get older, equity can still play a growing role. Be conservative in the first year you retire, but add 1 or 2% equity as you age. If you have a big loss early, it hurts more than having a big loss later. Disaster number 6, ignoring what may be your single greatest asset, your home. Most people have heard of a home equity conversion mortgage, often called a reverse mortgage. But a few realize how powerful it can be as a standing credit line. One of the favorite uses is when one spouse takes out a single person pension payment, set up a home equity conversion mortgage early, let it grow at government guarantee rates, and then use it to supplement the income for the surviving spouse when the pension receiver passes away. The key is that by federal law, the unused portion of the credit line grows at the same interest rate as the loan. You could compound interest over several years until you really need the cash flow to live on down the road. Over 15 years, a $200,000 line of credit can grow to $400,000, and is guaranteed by the government. Unlike a home equity line of credit, the value of your house has nothing to do with it. I think over time, more financial planners are going to start using it as a planning tool. Imagine you could avoid taking out Social Security and instead use the line of credit. Then at age 70, get the full Social Security benefit. This would help millions. Last but not the least is the disaster number 7, making too many decisions in a short period of time. One of the problems facing near retiree is decision fatigue. In short, people put off retirement planning, then try to make too many decisions in a short period of time, even in a single day. The end result is that they wind up making poor choices. You'll run into this tactic in everyday lives. Car salesmen are trained to walk you through a series of decisions in which you are likely to choose the default option, like worthless anti-rust coating. Eventually, the brain simply turns off as fatigue builds. The same thing can happen with investment and retirement planning. When people have to make too many decisions late in the day, for example, they tend to be too conservative. In the case of an investor, they will invest for income when they should have been investing for growth. A good financial planner will not force too many decisions too quickly on people who are planning for retirement for precisely this reason. A retirement plan is a great tool, but make your investment decision when you're fresh following day. These are the 7 costly retirement disasters that hopefully you avoid now. If you find this video useful, please click on like, subscribe, and forward to those who may also benefit from this tutorial. Until next time, God bless.